Welcome to Dunndark, and welcome back to Steins Gate 0. We're back as Kagari in I think the present here. I presume this rather messy CG represents where she lives, I think. As soon as she opened the door, Kagari Shina was struck with an unpleasant wave of heat. It was early June, and this was the first day to hit summer temperatures. It was hot enough that just walking outside could cause you to sweat, but this small Japanese-style room had thick curtains, and the windows were closed. The room was dark and cramped, and there were so many clothes on the floor that there was no place to stand. It wasn't just clothes. There were all kinds of filthy things. Bags with half-eaten snack bread still on them, half-rotted food packs, plastic convenience store bags overflowing with trash, all scattered around the floor. Oh. Hey. Guess who? Huh. So, that's interesting. So she's captured Shining Finger here. Huh. And the area around the half-naked girl sitting against the wall was covered in bandages and gauze, soaked with blood and pus. There were bandages tied around her exposed stomach, chest, limbs, but those too were soaked with blood. It was filled with a sickeningly sweet stench, though there was no way to know if it was coming from the garbage or from her. The owner of the room, Moika Kiryu, right, she had a kind of messy apartment in the first game, yeah, raised her head and looked at her, her eyes filling with hope.
M4、まだ生きてたか?
When she saw Kagari, who was still wearing her shoes as she came into the room, her shoulders slumped. You have to take off your shoes first before you torture your bleeding prisoner, clearly.
FB じゃない。誰?
Oh, okay, no, she's not keeping her prisoner, she just... I see, so she probably just showed up after... Okay, so I guess there's... No, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say after the recent gunfight, but... And then she was wounded or something. But that's not what happened, because this is June. She wouldn't still be wounded like this. You know, if the gunfight happened in July with the Russians. That wouldn't make sense. So, why is she wounded? That's a good question. She was expecting FB, right? Her, higher up person who she follows. But instead there's Kagari here. Huh.
命の恩人に向かってひどい言い草ね。
So Kagari saved her, huh? Well, they're both fond of motorcycle suits, so, I mean, maybe they can bond over that. Moika gave a painful cough and spit up some stomach fluid mixed with blood. It stained her thighs and the floor. Her wounds must have opened again because the bandages around her stomach started to turn red. She spent 5 months like this, with no treatment from a doctor. Okay, I'm confused. So she has been wounded for 5 months, and like that, and she's not dead. And I'm just confused now. Okay. Maybe I should stop trying to theorize and start reading. Moika had gotten into a gunfight with the Russian army. Yes, we know this. And failed her mission as a rounder. She lost 2 of her companions, and her target, Krisu Makise's laptop, was also destroyed. They pinned the blame on her. She was wounded and almost killed. It was Kagari who saved her and brought her to this room, which is her room? But if someone with a gunshot wound went to the hospital, the police would be notified. And for that reason, she'd never gotten any real treatment. Oh, would that have compromised CERN or something? Like, oh, why is this random girl here with a gunshot wound? Then they'd have to investigate what happened, and then they might find out, hey, you know, These rounder guys are doing some weird stuff. I don't know, maybe? Her wounds had become infected, and even 5 months later they'd still brought her incredible pain. Her terrible fever hadn't let up at all, and it wasn't rare for it to go from 39 degrees to over 40. But Moika didn't seem very interested in her wounds. She was more interested in sending messages with a phone in her hands. She must have been sending more messages to her beloved boss. In the past 5 months, she'd sent almost 1,000. It's crazy.
どうして FB どうして返事をくれないの
Right, because FB doesn't care. Huh. FB was Moika's boss in the Rounders, who she's obsessed with. A woman who'd always gave her orders to Moika via text message. Moika worshipped her to a degree that far exceeded what could occur within a normal employee relationship. The shock of being abandoned by FB had put her in despair. No, had hurt her many more times than her actual wounds. Kaguri tossed the bag she slung over her shoulder at Moika's feet, along with 2 plastic bags. The backpack was filled with medicine that wasn't available without a doctor's prescription. Along with it was a whole box of illegal drugs used only for treatment of severe pain. Normally these would be kept under strict control of the hospital, where no normal person could get to them. Both of these plastic bags were filled with canned goods and other things that Kaguri had chosen because they had the lowest probability of spoiling.
生きる気がなくなったら言うといいわ。代わりに毒でも持ってきてあげるから。
But Moika didn't seem to notice Kaguri at all anymore. She was completely unresponsive. Kaguri had gotten used to her attitude over the last 5 months. Why are you keeping her alive? But she wasn't just going to go home today. What does Kaguri want to know? She wordlessly reached for Moika's cell phone. Moika tried to resist, but evidently she had no strength left. Kaguri was easily able to grab the phone. It was covered in blood and pus, but Kaguri forced it into her pocket without hesitation. Moika started crawling towards her. It was like something out of a zombie movie.
勘違いしないで。FB から新しい命令よ。
Moika froze.
FB の命令。そう、受け取りなさい。
Kaguri took another cell phone out of her pocket. It was the same Japanese cell phone that Moiko had been using, minus the dirt and bloodstains.
今までの回線はロシアやアメリカの諜報部に傍受されていて使えないわ。だから今後はこっちを使って指令が来る。
Moika reached a trembling hand out towards the phone. In an instant, she snatched it away and clutched it to her chest like it was her own child.
FB はこの携帯ならメールをくれるの？多分もう来てるはずよ。
Moika quickly opened up the screen on the phone. When she saw the words on the screen, tears started to flow down her face.
M4 私の可愛い娘。
My beloved daughter.
大変だったわね。私もとても心を痛めています。
It must have been so hard for you. I know it was hard for me.
失敗したことは残念だったけれど、あなたが生きていてくれて本当によかった。早く傷を治して私からの次のメールを待っていてね。
So, get better away from my next message, okay? So it's like, I our favorite little girl here, Kaguri, is she trying to manipulate Moeka into doing something? Like, give her a phone that says the message is from FB, but isn't actually from FB? Like, what if Kaguri wrote the message, and the idea is to get her to do some kind of thing that Kaguri wants her to do? Oh, what use is a bleeding wounded person?
今度こそ任務を完全に遂行し、私の信頼を取り戻して、あなたのことを心から信じていますからね。私の大切な大切な娘 FB より
To my beloved daughter from FB. I was gonna say that took a while. Of course, this message wasn't from FB. Kaguri had written it herself. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, see, I'm smart. Keep someone on the brink of death for 5 months, then give them exactly what they want as bait, and you can easily put anyone under your control. Kaguri knew this well. The life suddenly returned to Moeka's face. She spilled out the contents of Kaguri's backpack like a woman possessed.
傷を治したいの。FB の信頼答えなくちゃ。
それでいい M4。
Kaguri smiled, satisfied, and knelt down in front of her.
私が治療してあげるわ。包帯を全部取りなさい。
When Kaguri left the apartment, the sun had set. She spent several hours treating Moeka's wounds. Her hands still smelled of medicine. Wouldn't go away for days, possibly. She sighed and put on her full-face motorcycle helmet. Then went to the parking lot and got on her bike. Okay.
神様の声。そろそろ聞こえるかな。
The voice of God. She whispered. She took off on her motorcycle. Okay, we're back to Okabe here. It was almost July. It's almost July. Okabe voice. The rainy season hadn't been that bad this year, and what little remained of it had already disappeared. Temperature-wise, summer had come a long time ago. Right. In other words, it had almost been a year since it happened. Have we already read this text from, like, the first ending? And then one Saturday afternoon, if I stayed home, not only would it be hot, but Dad would be on my case about helping with the family business. To get away, I'd come to the area around Ikebukuro Station. A year ago, I could have gone to the lab, but with Suzuha living there now, I mostly stopped going. That meant it was hard to find a place to study on my days off. It was too much trouble to go to the university. And the classrooms probably wouldn't even open on weekends anyway. After a lot of research, I'd been settled on spending my free days visiting the cafe near my parents' home and spending a few hours there. In fact, a lot of other patrons did the same thing I did, buying a single cup of coffee and sitting there for hours on end. Some brought books, others brought computers. I chuckled to myself as I realized I joined the ranks of the other normals. Come on. Right, so I remember in the original ending, he was talking to Amadeus Kurisu here, but now he's talking to Mayuri. Tutaru, where are you now? Ooh, that voice. Coffee sticker. Oh, the usual cafe, right? I just went to your place and you weren't home. You did? Did my dad make a nuisance of himself again? It's okay. He gave me some barley tea. I have to go shopping. Will you come with me? Okay, a sticker. Fair sticker. Okay, I'll leave now. Wait for me. So, she went to my house? Wish you could get like actual like stickers of like yourself online. That'd be kind of cool. My family business was called Okabe Green Grocer. It was a beat-up old store located in a rundown shopping street. The place was almost 40 years old. I really wanted them to rebuild it. My mind had wandered. My area was going to be here in less than 15 minutes. Maybe it was time to call it a day. I worked pretty hard during the morning, so it wasn't too bad. I was a little surprised at how hard I'd been working lately. I could feel how giving a goal had given me energy. What was his goal? Oh, he wanted to go to the university. Right. He wants to go to that university, yes. Which I can't pronounce, apparently. I was still in contact with Maho via email and chat. She was evidently busy with the research because she was always sleepy. Right. I took out my phone. I found myself looking for a certain icon on the home screen. But of course, I deleted it 6 months ago. Amadeus. Was Kurisu doing well? Knowing her, she was probably coming up with some complicated theory or teasing Maho. It was also possible she was visiting @channel and hiding it from Maho. That's right. Kurisu had internet access, so it would make sense if she accessed @channel. But given that... Kurisu had spent a lot of effort last summer trying to argue with John Teeter on @channel. This happened in the Alpha World line, though. Still, it meant that she was okay with posting. So, there's a chance that Amadeus Kurisu was doing the same thing. If Amadeus had even temporary access to the network, then, just maybe. I opened the web browser on my smartphone and, without really expecting much, ran a search for the nickname I knew I'd never really forget. Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha. It was the handle that Kurisu had once used. I spoke without thinking. I bowed my head towards the other customers who were staring at me coldly and looked back at my smartphone. Amazingly, the search turned up several hundred results. They were all comments on @channel. Aren't they old though? I mean, that's 2008, like... I thought that's years ago in the game. I took a look at the dates on the result page. They all date back to 2008, yes. Those must have been written by Kurisu when she was alive. I never expected to see traces of her here. Did she really need to post this much? I didn't realize she spent this much time on @channel. Her comments are spread out over a lot of different boards. Physics, mathematics, science fiction, and, of course, the occult boards. For example, in the science fiction thread, she had passionate discussions about time machines. I can read. But unlike the Alpha World line, she never came out and denied the possibility of a time machine. Surprisingly, some of the comments seem to be quite the opposite. After all, she'd gone through all the work required to write a paper on time machines. It's not surprising that she talked about time machines, that's fair. Compared to that, her comments on the occult boards were brutal. She would absolutely crush the arguments of anyone who dared to propose anything even the least bit unscientific. supernatural phenomena like crop circles, poltergeists, and spontaneous human combustion. Out-of-place artifacts, the Mayan doomsday calendar, conspiracy theories about how human DNA had been brought from another planet. She broke them down and refuted them with a cold thoroughness that even drove away her own side, and if anyone dared challenge her, she'd leave them flat on the canvas. It was just like Kurisu. Her comments offered so little room for discussion, it was aggravating to read them. Did she actually enjoy this occult stuff? She put enough energy into it that I couldn't help but wonder.
いくらなんでも大人げなさすぎだろ。
The first time I met her at last year's ATF, I'd gone through the same experience. But after a certain point, Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha comments had suddenly stopped. The cutoff date was July 27th of the previous year. The day Kurisu died. She posted it on the day she died? Poor Kurisu. Her last comment was a slightly too heated response to someone who was mocking Dr. Nakabachi's time machine press conference. My chest tightened with sensations of nostalgia and sorrow. I decided to close the browser. But then I stopped as soon as I saw her next comment. I brought the phone closer to my face and stared at it again and again. The day of the comment was December 1st, 2010.
これってまさか。
Kurisu died in July 2010. So this couldn't possibly be her. So, who was it? Was it someone else who had taken over the identity of Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha? Or was it? Since there was no trip code, I could tell for certain. A trip code is an encoded string of characters that appears next to a name by the @channel message board. By entering the word as name, number, some word, you can cause some word to appear in an encrypted form. Basically, it verifies it's actually you. My understanding of it. December 1st was just after Maho and Dr. Leskinen had come to Japan, and also about the time I had encountered Kurisu. After that, Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha commented at a rate of about once per week. It's not very often, not like incessantly like Kurisu used to. I looked for the most recent comment.
って昨日の夜じゃないか。
Last night, there was a discussion about relativity theory. I see. She really did get foul-mouthed when she went on that channel. I see. So you're one of those people who thinks that the Michelson-Morley experiment led to the development of relativity theory? Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. No wonder that you weren't making any sense. Go back to grade school, foo. WW. No point in even talking to you, WWW. Oof. But then I realized that she once said the same thing to me face to face. This wasn't some imposter. This really was Amadeus Kurisu. What a miraculous, yet stupid story. Did Maho and Dr. Leskinen know about this, I wonder? Probably not. Kurisu wasn't going to tell them. I couldn't help but laugh. Should I try to make contact with her? Ooh, yeah. Reply to her post. Fight her, you know? I want to see if this Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha guy was really Kurisu. And I could come up with a good handle. Salieri's neighbor. Oh, that is hinting. Of course, this was a knockoff to Maho's ID. If Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha really was Kurisu, she'd have to notice it, right? Okay. I thought I smelled moron. It's true that the original purpose was only to prove the existence of the Aether, but you can't deny it helped Einstein. As a result, you can say that it formed the basis of his theories. Someone needs to go back to school, and it ain't me. He wants to fight her. And there, it's posted. How about that? I wrote something deliberately provocative, and importantly, I'd mixed in some mistakes. Not to brag, but I thought I knew a lot more about Kurisu than Maho did. Oh, I see.
あっさり釣られるはずだ。クリスならな。
So fish are right in. The act of catching fish. It also refers to provoking someone on a message board or typing in deliberately false information in order to get an angry response. I think that's called trolling. Maybe it's a type of trolling. You know, it's been said on the internet, like, if you want to get the answer to a problem, the fastest way to get people to respond is to post like an incorrect solution. And then you'll just have droves of people correcting you, of course.
Karin?
Hey! Haven't seen you in a while. At some point, Maho had walked up right in front of me. Yeah, you know, I know the feeling, you know, when you're sitting in a coffee shop trolling people online, and then you're like, and then your friend who you're supposed to meet there actually shows up and is like, hey, yo, I exist, what are you doing? And then you're like, you don't want to say you've been like trolling, but you have. So you're like, I was just browsing the weather, how's the weather today, or something stupid. And they give you a look, and you know how it is.
なんだ、もう来てたのか。
I've been so busy writing my comment that I hadn't noticed. I hurriedly put my phone away and stood up.
じゃあ、行くか。ん？どうした？
Mayuri and I had left the cafe. Mayuri and I met up and headed for Tokyo Hands. When I stepped inside the air-conditioned store, I felt refreshed. If it was this hot in June, I shuddered to think of what it was going to be like in July or August.
それで、一体何を買うつもりなんだ？
商品宣伝用のポップを作るんだ。だから、それ用のカードとか蛍光ペンとか。
Right, in the first ending she decided to help Wakabe's family's store by making some signs to advertise it.
今年は込みまで同人誌でも出す気か？
違うよ。岡部製菓店で使うんだよ。
は？なんだって？
My family business?
今日、オカリンの家に行った時にね、おじさんとそんな話になって、じゃあ、マユシーが作りますって立候補したの。
おいおい。
My dad could be such a jerk.
お前がそんなことする必要ないんだぞ。
でもマユシーがやりたいからやっているのです。
本当にいいのか？
オカリンやおじさんおばさんにはいつもお世話になってるから。
じゃあ代わりに今度何かプレゼントするよ。
本当？嬉しいな。
I took a quick look around and saw that they were selling a lot of things you could use for advertising. I decided to leave most of the purchasing decisions up to Mayuri. She spent quite a while deciding what to buy. But, well, maybe because of all the time she spent at Mei Queen Yan, her taste ran in the direction of cute and anime.
ねえねえ、こっちのハート型のも可愛いよ。
野菜や果物を売るのにハート型なんてどう使うつもりだ？
Good point. Alright, and like Kurisu calls him while he's in the store in the first ending.
例えばこんな風に書くのはどうかな。おっきな松茸くん、今夜のおかずに奥さんいかが？あとは甘くてとろりん、早く食べてね、熟れたメロンちゃん。
お前まさか知らないうちに春に洗脳されたわけじゃないよな。
Yeah, that sounds like something Dara would make her say. Brainwashing, huh? That's funny, that hasn't come up either. The use of violent methods to forcibly change someone's thoughts or ideology. Violence in this case refers to both physical or psychological methods. It can offer a more powerful method of changing someone's mentality than mind control. Let's see.
ああ、いや、なんでもない。
Mayuri looked confused and completely oblivious.
とにかく、ハート型のポップは不許可だ。うちが怪しい店に見えてしまう。
そうかな。可愛いと思うけどな。
可愛くなくていいんだって。
My original intention not to interfere had gone by the wayside.
そもそも、これ以上買っても絶対余るぞ。
Shopping cart was filled with card stock of various colors and shapes.
これだけあれば当分困らないだろ。
そうだね。じゃあここまでにしよう。
We went to the cash register to check out, but since it was a Saturday, the checkout area was overflowing with shopping carts. Since it was going to take a while, I sent Mayuri to browse the toy section on another floor. I knew they'd have some stuff from her favorite shows, Raina Kakeru, which hadn't come up very much in the story, surprisingly, despite Ferris existing. Mayuri looked apologetic, but did what I told her to. In the end, I spent a whole 15 minutes at the register. As an apology, I decided to get the present I promised her. Yes, the Upa from the, thing. She seemed really happy about as she stared at the keychain. Yes, that Upa. There was an Upa, the mascot character from Raina Kakeru. I told her that when she went to the toy section, she could pick out anything she wanted, and this is what she chose.
ウーパならもう大量に持ってるのに、ずいぶん嬉しそうだな。しかもそれって普通の緑色のウーパだろ？レアなやつじゃないよな。レアなのは確かメタルウーパだっけか。
The most okay, the most popular and rarest of the Upas was the shiny silver metal Upa. For example, whenever there was a lottery for the rare Rainet Kakeru stuff at the convenience stores, the top prize was always the metal Upa. Mayuri had told me once that they sold for tens of thousands at an auction.
チッチッチ。
For some reason, Mayuri was wagging her finger at me.
違うんだな。これはね、緑のウーパさんだけど普通のとは違うの。この前やってた映画に登場した緑の妖精さんウーパなんだよ。
Right, the green fairy Upa. Also, if you look on the right, I'm just gonna say, if you like Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, have you tried Gate? I love Gate. Come to think of it, there had been a Raina Kakeru movie out in spring. Had Mayuri sat in a theater of little kids to watch it?
緑の妖精さん？
映画のネタバレしてもいいかな？
いいぞ、どうせ見ないし。
今回の映画はね、バーチャル世界で悪のスーパーハッカーさんたちとバトルをするんだ。
Super hacker.
そのバーチャル世界が妖精さんの住む森なのです。スーパーハッカーさんはすごく強くてね、かけるくんもウーパもピンチになっちゃうんだけど、もうダメだーっていう時にね、妖精さんたちが助けに来てくれるの。実はその妖精さんたちはかけるくんがお世話をしてた学校の花壇のお花さんたちだったんだよ。
Yeah, which this totally makes sense, yes.
いつも優しくしてくれるかけるくんを助けるためにね、バーチャル世界でピカピカーって光ってウーパと合体するんだ。
Yeah, so the flowers from the garden in the... basically, yeah, so there's this The school garden had some flowers that he'd taken care of, but then they came to the virtual world, the flowers did, and then they were fairies or something? Yes.
それがこの緑の妖精さんウーパー。すっごく可愛いし、すっごく強いんだよ。
I found the Rainet Kakeru summaries from the first game kind of confusing.
まゆし、感動したな。そういう話に弱いんだ。監督さん天才だよ。
Probably would have made more sense if I had read them in order.
なるほどな。
It was rare to see Mayuri get this excited about something. I took a closer look and saw the design was a little different from the standard Upa. I didn't know a lot about Upas, so I couldn't say exactly what was different.
このキーホルダーね、結構あちこち探してたんだ。すっごく人気があってね、どこも売り切れだったんだよ。まさかハンズに残ってるなんて思わなかったな。
ラッキーだったな。
しかもこれが最後の1個だったんだよ。今日は来てよかった。オカリンとおじさんには感謝しなくちゃ。
Mayuri took off the keychain, the tag off the keychain, got her house key out of the bag, and carefully attached it.
ねえオカリン、まゆしーね、これずっとずっと大切にするね。
Aww.
おお、そうしてくれ。くれぐれも買って5分でなくしたりしないようにな。
It had happened before, after all. Like the metal Upa I went for at the radio building in the first game, yes. Mayuri had lost it no more than 5 minutes after I'd given it to her. I wondered if she ever found it. I didn't really want to remember that time in my life, so the memory of what happened to the metal Upa was vague.
もう絶対になくさないのです。
The two of us started to head back.
オカリンのお店のポップ張り切って作るね。
ああ、その作業があったな。
I'd been thinking the job was done once she bought the materials. Real work actually began now.
俺も手伝おうか。
大丈夫。マユシーのセンスを信じてほしいな。
ハートマークのポップを買おうとしてた時点でセンスを疑うぞ。
大丈夫だよ。
まあポップを作ってくれるだけでもありがたいから文句は言わないけどな。
お母さんにメールしなきゃ。晩ご飯までには帰りますって。
なんならうちで食べてってもいいぞ。どうせ親父やおふくろが引き止めるだろうし。
どうしようかな。オカリンは今日はこの後ずっと家にいるの？合コンとか行かない？
Oh yeah, singles parties.
最近は全然行ってないよ。
Last fall, when I'd been trying to become a normal college kid, I forced myself to go to as many as possible. But lately, I'd been so busy with my studies, I hadn't had a chance.
そっか。じゃあごちそうになっていこうかな。
Being so busy with your studies that you don't have any time for socializing? Now that's relatable. Mayuri took out her phone and started to type something when her expression suddenly darkened. She stopped moving.
どうした？
ついさっきね、楓さんからメールが来てて気づかなかったよ。どうしよう、オカリン。
Mayuri seemed like she was on the verge of tears.
何かあったのか？
ねえオカリン、前に言ってたよね。吹雪ちゃんは病気なんかじゃないって。
吹雪ちゃん？中瀬さんのことか？来島さんの方じゃなくて？
あれって本
おおう、違うはずだ。
でも
Meyer, show me her phone. Right, she's back in the hospital and you have to go talk to her, yeah.
また入院しただって。
I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the screen. Right, they went to talk to Dr. Leskinen again in the previous timeline. And he had brought Maho because Maho had found out about all the stuff and he brainwashed Maho. That's why he brought Maho with him. But would he have brought Maho with him to Japan this time if he didn't do that? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna cut that off here. It's a pretty good time, about 41 minutes. Anyways, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you next time.